Welcome to the latest episode of Five on the Floor on the Five Reasons Sports Network. Thanks for joining us on your favorite podcast app, Red Circle, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Also, the Five Reasons YouTube channel. Make sure you hit like, subscribe, and turn the notifications on. Also, for text directly from us, who wouldn't want more content from us? Go to Off the Floor. It's winnow.app/Off the Floor. That's where you get Q&As, behind-the-scenes information, prize picks contests, and more. Mentioning Prize Picks, one of the great sponsors of the Five Reasons Sports Network. Go to prizepicks.com. Use the code 5. Get your initial deposit matched up to $100. Again, go to prizepicks.com, the Google Play Store, or the Apple App Store. Use the code 5. And now, today's episode.
Down to Biscayne. Yikes. 5 on the floor. Ride for my dogs. Where here's the thing. You can check the score. Hustle hard, couple scars, wearing rubber frauds. Just like Butler said, you in trouble, y'all. Kept the floor playing. Got it all banned. Y'all seen the block. Stop with one hand. And Pat we trust. It's power, have the guts. We're here to bring the heat. Y'all can hang it up.
Welcome to Five on the Floor, a daily insider show on the Miami Heat and the NBA, featuring Ethan Skolnick, Greg Sylvander, and Alex Toledo, plus others from the Five Reasons Sports Network.
All right, welcome back to Five on the Floor. Here's today's floor plan. I got Brady Hawk. You can follow him at Brady Hawk 305. We got Tropical Blanket. Alex Toledo, you can follow him at Tropical Blanket. I'll never get used to that. And then we had to follow him all the way to the Midwest now. Our guest today, Max Strus, sharpshooter extraordinaire, formerly of the Miami Heat, and now of and it's hard for me to say this, Max, have you gotten used to it, the Cleveland Cavaliers?
I have not. It's still taking me some time, but every day it's getting more and more comfortable. So it's tough, though, for sure.
It's one of those things, too. You have your entire family they've all become Miami Heat fans, right? So now there's a transition to a new heritage. And, that whole Heat Cavs thing, there was stuff that went on, during the 2010s. I don't know if you heard about it. So what has that been like?
I haven't heard. I mean, I know what you're talking about, but I haven't gotten too much of that grief from anybody else. But it's just been trying to adjust personally. Like you said, my family, myself, were so indebted in the Miami Heat organization and the culture that it's going to take some time for us to get used to being in Cleveland now. But we're all excited for the new opportunity and for me to be closer to home.
Yeah, I wanted to get into that with you a little bit, and then we're going to cycle back to your Heat career. And I know we got a list of memories we want to go through here with you. But, when you just look at the process this summer from, again, being a Miami Heat player, being ingrained in the culture, and then finding a place that valued you and had the resources to bring you in, but then also making that choice that place could be the right place for you to continue your career, for your family to spend time. Can you go through that a little bit? Like, you've never been in a situation like that before.
Yeah, I've never really been wanted in the NBA. So it was a little bit different. I was kind of always trying to put my name out there and trying to get my opportunity. So, being a free agent and going through free agency and having people reach out to me and show interest and show the dollar signs that people were talking about was pretty special and pretty crazy. And, it was my first free agency I'll never forget. And, I think it went pretty smooth, all things considered. And I'm in a good place, and I'm in another good organization.
We're going to get to the memories here now. But just, you say dollar signs, like when you first heard, okay, this is the ballpark that we're talking about. Because, you go through a season, I'm sure your agent had instructed you what might be out there for you, again, if you didn't end up returning to Miami, or even if you did. But, like, when reality strikes that, oh, wait a second, we're talking north of $50 million. We're talking, life-changing kind of money. How did you react to that?
It's hard to put it into words. I honestly, going through my career and as I kept elevating and, became a starter and played on great teams, you kind of expect it. You kind of, get in the mindset that you deserve it and have earned it. So it was hard for me to not think that I deserved that type of money. But when you actually hear the exact money and that, millions of dollars, it's life-changing for sure. And it's very humbling, just to, the story that I have, the background that I came from. There's really no words you can put into the feeling that I had when the 62 $1.3 million deal came across.
Yeah. See, you got to know it to the decimal point. It's when it's that good, you know it all the way to the decimal point.
Definitely.
Yeah. There might be a few cents they throw in. I'm sure the Cavs could have afforded another 76 cents or something like that, or maybe rounded it up. All right, we want to get to some memories here with you as we go forward. I know the guys compiling a list. Brady, you're going to give the obvious one or no?
I mean, I can. I mean, we usually start at the beginning, but we got to start at the end. It's funny because I was going to bring up the Chicago playing game, obviously. But it's funny, after that game, I remember the first thing that Jimmy said after that game was, Max made himself a lot of money tonight. Like, that was his first comment after. Did you hear from Jimmy after the official signing? Like, what was?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, Jimmy couldn't be more happy for me, and that's Jimmy Butler. You guys see his personality, you see who he is, but behind closed doors, he's a good dude and wants the best for his teammates. And we built a great relationship over our years together, and he couldn't have been more happy for me. And I think we were both upset we're not going to be playing together anymore, but at the end of the day, it's a business, and you got to do what's right for yourself and try to get all you can out of this. So he was very appreciative of what I've helped him with, and couldn't be more happy for me and my family.
Is he shipping coffee, Max, or anything like that?
I didn't even get coffee in Miami. We're not getting coffee in. Way too much of that.
Like, getting back to the Chicago game, I guess, just starting at the end. Like, I think everybody, the reason talking about your Heat career is the fact that whole playoff run doesn't happen if you don't have that game. Like, if you don't have that early 6 threes, I think in the first half specifically. Can you just walk us through that game? I guess the feeling, because there was on the brink of elimination, walking into that game and then a full turnaround afterward. Like, can you just walk us through that entire process of that day?
I didn't play well in the Atlanta game before that. I didn't shoot the ball well. I wasn't happy. None of us were happy that we lost that game, obviously. So, I wanted to play better. It didn't really matter who we were playing against. Obviously, I always have extra motivation when I play against Chicago. But to be able to play that well and to start the game like that, start out hot and just catch a rhythm and catch a feel for the game was all I needed. And after that, it was easy. Guys just kept finding me. I was open and just kept making the right play and the right reads. And, I appreciate you saying that whole run wouldn't have happened without that, because I kind of tend to forget that sometimes. And, it's hard to think about it when you don't play well in other certain games and, later on in the playoffs. So to be able to hear that from you guys and, loyal fans like that, it definitely means something to me. So I appreciate that.
Alex, what you got?
So instead of, kind of pointing out a specific memory, I wanted to ask you a question about kind of your memories with the Heat, right? Throughout these couple of seasons here, you kind of alluded to it, your background in the NBA, where you were with the Celtics, you were with the Bulls. It didn't necessarily work out. You had the injuries. After, kind of going through all of that, coming out on the other side on the Heat's rotation, working your way up and ending up in the rotation, I think sooner than people expected, not this past season, but the season before. And all of a sudden you were a staple, and everybody, kind of, I think, started to see the type of player you were going to become. So what I wanted to ask you was, is there a game in that first season, maybe it could be playoffs, could be regular season, where you knew or you got that kind of feeling that, this was just the start of something great, like the next chapter of your career where you're going to be this featured player, and who knows what's going to come after that? And obviously it's been 2 long playoff runs ever since where you were a huge part of what they did. So where do you have an original memory from that season that kind of sparked everything?
I honestly think it was the summer league before that season. I think that's really what propelled me to have all the confidence to come into that season and try to earn a rotational spot. Just the confidence and the belief that they instilled in me that summer, to be the guy on that summer league team and to kind of take over, and just the trust and the belief that they put into me during that summer was all I needed. And then the way I performed during summer league and shot the ball, I just had all the confidence in the world going in that season that I was going to be able to help this team and find a way to impact winning and become a rotational player and finally work my way into a starting spot. So I can't say there was a game during the season where I said, like, I'm here. I think it was just that summer league just kind of gave me that confidence boost to finally understand that I could be something in the NBA.
Not just prove it to yourself, but also, I guess, prove to your teammates over that period of time. For someone who came from your background, when did you kind of realize, okay, the guys trust me? The core guys on this team trust me, that they think that, I'm at their level and I can compete with them.
Yeah, honestly, it was my two-way year. I think just the relationship that I built with Jimmy that year was huge. I was always in his ear trying to learn from him. And I think he respected that. I think he understood that I was a competitor, wanted to win and wanted to play and wanted to be somebody in this league, make a name for myself. And I think he, felt that, and he kind of just took me under his wing when I was on my two-way. And I played one-on-one with him every single day. He whooped my ass every single day and made sure I knew about it. But I think, when you go through those moments, I think that's where you really earn the trust and earn the respect of guys like that. So I think just that whole year when I really wasn't getting minutes and really wasn't playing a lot. And then, whenever I did get my name called that year, it was just, I was always ready. And I think, guys like that know how hard that is to do, to come off the bench and produce like that. So I think that first year was huge to gain respect from the older guys like that.
I want to get into your relationship with Eric Spoelstra a little bit over your time here. And then I also know that Eric has a history of when someone has a good situation, wishing them well, even if there's the reason obviously for him to want to keep the person around. I remember him, spending hours prepping, David Fizdale for the Memphis coaching job, and the Ritz-Carlton renting out a room and all this, and making sure that he was prepared for it. I'm just curious, as you were going through your process, and obviously, having been around Spo, every day almost, for the past 3 years, what kind of advice did he give you during this as you were going through it?
Spo was great. Our relationship grew exponentially this past year. We just became closer, and through that playoff run this past season was, I think our team as a whole really got closer, and it was a special experience, and we formed a lot of bonds, going all the way to the finals and then through the finals. So memories I'll never forget, and experiences that I got to share with him. It's something I'll always be thankful for him giving me the chance to even play. I'm always going to be grateful for him for that, and to play for a Hall of Fame coach like him. So, but yeah, what did you want me? What was your question?
No. I was just
for the experience. I just wanted to make sure that.
No, that's all good. No, that's all good. I was just curious kind of how it evolved too, because obviously, he got attached to you as a coach, and I'm just as you're going through your own decision on where to go from here. Yeah. Did you consult with Eric at all and say, do you think that Cleveland would be a good fit for me, or anything along those lines?
Not really. During the free agency marketing, like meetings like that, didn't really reach out like that. He obviously wanted what's best for me, and he made that clear in our exit interviews at the end of the year. And I think he understood that it's going to be a good fit. I think they wanted me back, but it was just kind of tough with the way the money works out right now, and it's unfortunate. But I went to Summer League to go watch, meet some of the Cavs guys, and of course the Heat were playing at the same time, so I had to walk in the other gym, and for some reason, everybody from the Heat organization was there, like Mickey, Nick, Andy. Guys that I've never seen at Summer League were just there for some reason, and I just walked in, and I made eye contact with Spo immediately, and his eyes lit up that he was just so excited to see me and to give me a hug and congratulate me. And everybody that was there too was just so appreciative of the time that we had together, and it honestly was nice, and it was kind of good to have like a closure moment like that with all of them. So just grade A people, and it shows you exactly what the Heat culture and the organization is about.
Yeah, it's always when you're not expecting to see people that they all sort of rush out at once, especially at that moment in that place for you. That's crazy. I want to get into the fit in Cleveland with you a little bit, but before that, the relationship you built with the fans over the course of your time in Miami, I know you wanted to speak to that a little bit, but we always see this evolution with the guys who come in where they don't know their names at first, right? If they come from some obscure place or not the usual route. And then there's a little bit, you make a shot or two, and then it's like, okay, everybody starts to notice you. And then by the time you leave, they're naming juices after you and beers and other drinks across Miami. Just what was that kind of evolution with the fans like for you in South Florida?
Oh man, it was great. And honestly, it didn't really hit me until I was there this past week, moving out. Ironically, I was there. A lot of the Cavs guys all kind of got together to meet up out there and play some pickup. And, I used the time to move out of my apartment and kind of, close things up and move on to Cleveland. And honestly, the whole week that I was there, I don't think I've ever been recognized more. And people said everything. I mean, it was honestly, I was like, I got to get out of here because this is too nice. It was like I was still playing for the Heat. It was just everywhere I walked down the street, every restaurant I went to, it was like, thank you so much for all you did for us. And I've felt that while I was playing there. But it was just nice to have that, kind of closure again with the fans too. And they were great the whole time. I didn't even like Miami at first, living in Miami. It took me a while to get used to it coming from the Midwest. But once I, found my ground and found my people, it's a place that I'll, have a special place in my heart for forever.
All right, I'm going to turn it over to Alex and Brady for some more basketball stuff in a second. Before I do, I want to mention a couple of great sponsors of the 5 Reasons Sports Network. Who's our friend Lynette, biggest Miami Heat fan we know. I know she'll be listening to this episode. InsuranceByLynette.com. 2 N's, 2 T's. Get your life insurance, your homeowner's insurance, your renter's insurance, and more from Lynette. The phone number 954-581-8800. And if you're looking to bet legally, we always recommend Better Edge. Use code 5RSN. Go to betteredge.com. $20 to play with that code 5RSN. And again, you are betting legally because you're not betting against a bookie or the book. You're betting against others who use the app, and you can find the line you want. So check it out at betteredge.com. Use the code 5RSN. Cleveland, as a basketball fit for you, why was it appealing?
They need shooting in the worst way. I think I'm going to come in and play right away and be a huge part of it. I'm excited about that. I want to be able to help a good team win. And I think anybody who watched their playoff series against New York saw that they needed shooting in the worst way. And I think it's the perfect fit, honestly. I think I'm going to come in and complement, stars like Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell. And, it's a young team, but it's a very talented young team that has been proven to win. So, I think my experiences of these long playoff runs in Miami are going to help, bring some experience to the younger guys like that. And that's what they wanted. Everything that they said during the phone calls and everything that went through during that process was music to my ears. They want me to come in and help guide and, be a leader. And it's crazy to hear that when you're only going into year 5. But I couldn't be more excited about it. A team that already made the playoffs, great young talent, and a lot of guys that are around my age. I think it's going to be a really good fit for me.
Brady, jump in.
It's funny because every Heat Cavs game was like a dog fight to get over 100. I felt like last season. So I was going to ask you about that similarity because I think Cleveland ended up finishing as the number 1 defense in the regular season last year. So I guess how does that similarity going to kick into the fact that it's a structure that's already built defensively and it's more about you going in there playing a spot up role around kind of the guys you mentioned?
Yeah, I think it's going to be very similar to the experiences I had in Miami. I think it's going to be part of the same role and something that I'm used to doing. And, they're not going to ask too much out of me. It's going to be fit right into exactly to what I do and what I'm good at. So, I honestly think, this isn't a knock at Bam, but having guys like Jared Allen and Evan Mobley that just stand in the paint was very tough for us when we played against them to finish over them. And I think just the ability to guard on the perimeter and then, take away the threes and bring those guys in the lane and have them finish over those guys is going to be very tough. So, it's a system that's already set up and something I think I can thrive in.
Alex?
All right, so I'm going to list off some numbers here. Nothing too advanced. This is just the games you had against the New York
class. The stats are coming out, Strus.
No. This is nothing too crazy. This is
how you played in a 4-man lineup on Tuesday nights.
We're going straight into points, straight up box score points. 17, 19, 16, 14, 14. This was your series versus the New York Knicks. You just brought them up when you talked about how kind of where the Cavs fell short against them in this past playoffs. Whereas, you were on fire versus them, and it wasn't just from three, even though you were very much a high volume 3-point shooter in that series, 8 3-point attempts a game. You also got about 3 attempts inside the arc. You had a game where you got to the free throw line 6 times, I believe. Is that the type of role that you're trying to replicate for the Cavs? Just somebody who they can rely on to be this, high volume movement shooter, more than just spot up, somebody that can be running around and essentially the best version of yourself, where you're always a threat out there. They're leveraging, your shooting gravity. Is that the blueprint?
Absolutely. Obviously, it's still early, and we haven't got together and figured all that stuff out. But I believe that is going to be the blueprint. I think my ability to do all those things that you said is just going to help Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell just get downhill a lot easier. And a team, obviously, it's game based on teams like that. In New York kind of took away the paint and forced us to shoot threes, and and that's what they did to Cleveland, and they just needed a little more help on the arc. So I think we had guys that could shoot, and that's why we had success against the Knicks. And I'm sure the Cavs watched our series against them and said, okay, that guy can help us. So luckily I played good in that series, and I think I think you hit it right on the head. I think that's exactly that what they're expecting in that role out of me, and I couldn't be more excited about that.
You mentioned what they're expecting. Kobe Altman's done a pretty good job of putting things together up there in recent years. When you see Kobe, tell him he still owes me a drink at the 9, because that's where I basically spent a year when I was up there when Kobe was moving up. And one of the interesting things was Kobe used to ask a lot of questions about the Heat because I was covering both teams, and he would sort of ask about, how does Pat do this? How does Pat do that? How does Eric do that? And it does seem like some of the ways that they've built the organization that this last time around, post LeBron, the second time, that it looks like they're trying to do some of those things. I want to take you back to your Heat tenure here one more time, though, because I know the relationship that you built with UD over time, and UD kind of taking everybody in, the undrafteds and all that stuff. And I know that became a dirty word during the playoffs because Reggie Miller said it every 3 seconds. Before I go past it, did that characterization bother you by the end? I'm just curious if you felt about it the way that I felt about it for you guys.
No, I love it. I love hearing it. It does get a little outplayed, but I carry that chip on my shoulder consistently. So, and I think a lot of us do. It does, it kind of felt like there was not a lot of respect during those days, but I take it as very respectful. I just think it's the utmost respect to understand that, people really see what you've came from and made a career out of. So, no, I never took it as a knock. I really love the undrafted, and I think UD would say the same thing. He's spent 20 years of saying, he's the king of the undrafted. So I'll always be thankful for his guidance along my career, and the bond that I have with him will last a lifetime. He's just an unbelievable human being, not only a teammate, but as a man, and somebody I'll always, have in my corner that I can always bounce ideas off and, be the best pro I can be and be the best man I could be.
Yeah, he's the king of a lot of things in South Florida right now. Like literally every single day, he owns a highlight team. All of a sudden, he's banging the drum at the Panthers game. The Marlins are like retiring his jersey and having a UD day. UD told me for about 15 years he did not want any pomp and circumstance at the end of his career. He was literally just walking off. He literally had like a year of it. Then it's gone into the off season. Now, like, people are going to petition him to run for mayor again. You know, it's just at a certain point, you know, it's enough, Strus, right? No.
He deserves all of it. He deserves all of it and more. You know, what he's done for the city and what he's done for the Heat. You know, just to be, you know, the epitome of Heat culture. Come in, work hard every day. Don't worry about anything. Don't complain about anything. Just do your job and shut up is basically, you know, his motto and what he lives by. And I think that, you know, a lot of the people of Miami resonate with that, and him being from there just helps even more. So I think whatever Miami needs to do for him to understand his greatness, they need to keep doing because he deserves all the respect.
Well, he's pushing for he knows he's getting the banner in the rafters. But
The
now,
statue?
Statue, ownership. I mean, the whole damn, he wants everything. As you look forward, I remember talking to you in training camp at the Bahamas last year about what you wanted your career to be. And although I don't remember it word for word, it was something along the lines of, you know, you wanted to be a long-term productive, player, with a role for a long time. Now you've seen yourself get courted in free agency, and you've been to an NBA Finals. I know that didn't go for you quite the way you wanted it to in a couple of the games, but you've been to an NBA Finals. You played in high leverage situations. Have your career expectations changed now in any way? Do you look at it any differently in terms of what you want to be long term?
I mean, I definitely want a championship now that I've gotten to taste it. So that's definitely on my radar. But honestly, not really. I think it only just adds, more confidence to it. I think it helped me believe in myself more to the extent that I can help a team. Everything that I've been through with Miami, everything that I've learned there, I can bring to another organization and try to help them get to where we were. I've had, in my 3 years, I've had an Eastern Conference Finals and I've had an NBA Finals. I've been to both of them, and to be able to say that, not many guys play their whole careers and get to do that stuff. So I'm always going to be grateful for that, and not only for the experience, but for the knowledge that I gained from it. I think it's just going to help me a ton in my leadership role on another team, and to be able to just add that dimension to my game and be, somebody that's, guys can go to in the locker room during tough times in a playoff series. And, I think the only thing that changed about my career expectations is that I want to be on playoff teams. Like, I don't want to be, doing rebuilds and doing all that. Like, I want to compete every season for a championship. And I think that's the only way you should go about it.
That's why the Heat liked you so much. We'll close here. You have the date circled for the the matchup?
Maybe. I know we only come to Miami once, which
it's like in March. It's late.
That one's late. Yeah, it's around my birthday, I think.
I mean, they're gonna have like a 20-minute tribute video for you, so
They're not gonna do anything. I'm not expecting anything, to be honest with you. Maybe some claps from the fans, but no, that would be great if they did. But no, I'm excited. It'll be a fun matchup for sure.
Jimmy's picking you up first time down court, right?
Maybe in the fourth quarter, he'll be ready to go.
I see you decide to go viral too, just putting your teammates on posters right after you sign away, putting Jared Allen on a poster. So I got to flip the question before we finish. If you could put one Heat player on a poster in a regular season game this year, who would it be?
Jimmy Butler, no doubt. No doubt. Jimmy, or honestly, Bam. That would be fun too. Bam would be good to get. But I think Jimmy would probably be my number one. But he's not going to come anywhere. He's not even going to jump. So probably Bam.
He'll clear out and let you go. That's for sure. Now, Bam will challenge you. That's the thing.
Bam for sure. Bam's going to foul the crap. Jimmy will probably foul me, actually. Jimmy's not going to let me even get close. So yeah, that would be fun.
No doubt. Well, Max, we appreciate it. I know the fans appreciate it. That you come on and you've developed a relationship with them. It's after they figure out how to say your name. That took a while. That took a little while.
Can I ask one more? Finish this off with a nice little bow on the episode here. I know a lot happened in these, couple of years you've been with the Heat, these deep playoff runs. This is going to be kind of, I think, tough to pick one. Do you have a favorite moment from these playoff runs, whether last season, this season, something that kind of maybe encompasses the entire experience for you, something that stands out right away?
Off the top of the head, I got to say winning Game 7 in Boston to get to the finals. I think that's got to be number one to finally – after the season before losing in Game 7, I think to be able to pull that out and do it in Boston was special. To hear that crowd be as silent as possible was,
especially considering what happened the game before.
Exactly. Yeah, for me, especially, yes. But that's probably number one. That or just Jimmy's playoffs last year. Just being able to experience that and witness that. That was a special run too.
The good thing is going from Miami to Cleveland, you're still allowed to hate Boston. This is, right? Because there's not a lot of love for them there either.
Yeah.
From all of those matchups. So anyway, Max, we really appreciate it, man. Thanks again for taking the time with us. Thanks to our sponsors, Better Edge, Prize Picks, InsuranceByLynette.com. Hopefully we stay in touch with you, as you go forward, and maybe there's a second round playoff matchup on the horizon, which would be fun.
Never know. We'll see. I appreciate you guys, though. You guys have always been great to me. So thank you for the time, and appreciate you guys.
Thanks a lot, Max.